All right, Coach Larry Wade, just simple one, man. Was this the best camp of Shawn's career?
You know, I've been in a lot of Shawn's camps, and they've all been really, really good. I've seen him elevate in every last camp, but this particular camp, he's done exceptionally well. I'm really happy with it. You know, Kenny Porter and Barry Hunter done a great job of developing up to this point. I'm looking forward to a good fight.
What have you guys done differently this camp?
Well, you know what? Let's say it like this. I don't think when you're doing stuff at such a high level, he's already world champion, right? It's been at the top of the game for 5 years, if not 6. There's not a lot that you have to adjust. You just tweak small things, areas that you feel that are weaker, right? And then you have to condition them based on the fighter that's in front of him. So, you know, he's dealing with a southpaw, a guy who's very talented. So we have to tweak a few those small things so he can be prepared for that guy.
Hey, Coach, what do you think of Errol Spence? His work rate gets to 75, 80, 90, 100 punches. What do you think of the other guys' conditioning, and what do you need from your guy to match it?
Doesn't matter. He better bring all that night. He better bring it all. He better bring 200 punches that night. So it doesn't matter to me what Errol can do. All I care about is what we can do. So whatever his positive attributes are, he better have all of them that night.
Are you guys studying Errol's fights and looking back on film and stuff?
Well, it's not. You know, Kenny Porter, they have so much experience in this game that they don't have to, because they've seen him fight for years. They worked with him for years. So he doesn't have to do tape and video like I may. I'll go and look, see what physical things he can and cannot do, and then I try to tweak Shawn so he can take advantage of those moments.
What was it that feels like it is maybe the best camp? Is he that much more explosive in camp off the line, or what is it that makes you feel that way?
He's developed in some areas that we want to go back and develop. He's a little bit stronger, a little bit more explosive. At the same time, Kenny has set up a program for him so that we can be prepared for this guy in particularly. So I think that what makes this camp so great is you have some really good trainers in those corners putting their minds together. You talk about 30, 40 years worth of experience from Barry Hunter and Kenny Porter, and then you bring myself in there and Al Chernoff, who are also Hall of Fame guys. You put all that information in one place, you create some really, really good concepts. So to be able to have us all in one place and put the camp together, he's looking really good. I'm really excited.
Because I know in the past Kenny has said when he has to get all the way down to 47, he feels he loses a little strength and power. So you feel like that's part of what's different in this camp too?
I don't think it's any different than any other fighter that has to endure it.
Right.
You know, whenever you're coming down in weight, yeah, you're gonna feel a little fatigue in certain areas, but when showtime is here, Shawn Porter always shows up, right? You've never seen a fight where Shawn Porter didn't show up. There was never a fight where you wasn't expecting him to do something amazing. Whether it's his fast hands, his fast feet, his aggression, his fearless aggression, that is, you're gonna get that same type of fight here. The only difference is a guy that's in front of him, half the world feel like it's unbeatable. I totally disagree.
What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on Shawn being an underdog, even though he's the champion right now?
Who cares? I never cared. I don't care if the world feels like he's an underdog. I don't. I feel like we're the champions. I feel like we're the A side. I feel like he has to prove to us that he wants that title. He already has it.
How confident are you your guy is the most conditioned guy in the division, obviously Spence included?
100%. There's no question. There's no doubt. Shawn Porter is a phenomenal athlete. I've always said this, that Shawn is in boxing because he chose to box. Shawn could have been a Division I football player. He could have played basketball. He has that much agility and athleticism. So when you talk about conditioning, he's definitely done all the things he's supposed to do to be conditioned for that moment. And you're not going to get past that internal drive he has to ever even see fatigue. He's not going to let you. He's going to keep coming at you until he breaks you down.
How is it harder, and how much harder is it to maintain your top level stamina and cardio when you're under stress? Because Errol is great stamina, but it hasn't faced too much stress yet, you know?
Well, here's the thing. You know, when your mind is working, it takes energy. So when you got a guy like that who hasn't been in that type of pressure, yeah, you want to put some heat on him. You want to put a little pressure on him and make his mind do some work, and that'll take some energy away from him. But we're talking about at a world-class level. We're not talking about guys developing. We're not talking about amateurs. We're talking about guys who perform at the highest level. With that being said, we're not banking on that to be the case. We're banking on Shawn Porter being the absolute best he could be that night. And if Shawn Porter's the absolute best he could be that night, he walks away as a unanimous world champion.
Anything different, just mental, psychologically wise, just feeling the energy and the vibes from Shawn.
Well, what I get
is he
from Shawn
possessed, for this?
Oh, I'm not gonna say possessed. The thing I get from Shawn is Shawn's a more developed and mature young man now, opposed to his 25. He's a father now, has responsibilities. He loves his kids. He's a family man. Has always been one. So what you get is a more focused Shawn Porter, opposed to a younger. I'm not gonna use the word immature, but not as developed Shawn Porter. He knows what to do. This is not his first time. He fought world champions before. This ain't his first one. So he's a little bit more focused in a sense where he's mature now. You don't have to tell him 20 times to do it. You got to tell him once, maybe once. But you only got to tell him once and he'll get it done.
What advantages does Shawn have?
Well, I've always said this. If you were able to line up 10 different things, right? From speed to agility to power to aggression to IQ, boxing IQ that is, to heart, and no matter what 10 you decide that you want to put together, there's no way you come up with Errol having 6 over those levels above Shawn. There's no way. You just don't do it. Now, you can even go with competition. Who has he boxed? The level of boxers. You put that situation in there, once again, Shawn's going to win that category. But once again, this is boxing. It has to happen that night. But from a scientific standpoint, from a statistic standpoint, you put the levels up, it's going to be hard for anyone to say that Errol is above Shawn in those areas.
Larry, just to finish on that maturity, I hear what you're saying. And so is there any chance, though, that having them kids makes you think twice before you go into the fire, like Shawn was always willing to do?
Absolutely not. Being a father, and you being a father now, your intent and your fight and your drive is harder. Because you're not just providing for yourself anymore. And when I say providing, I'm not talking about feeding your kids. I'm not talking about putting a roof over your head. I'm saying when you go out there, every time you go out there, you're fighting for more than just yourself. That somebody is depending on you to not only provide, but come home to. So he has even more motivation now because he wants to get back to his kid. Anytime a boxer has an opportunity to get in the ring, they have an opportunity to lose their life. Everybody knows that now, right? So he's not taking it lightly, nor will he, considering now that he's a father. He has to get back, he will get back, and that's his main priority, to beat this kid and get back home to his kid.
And I know I asked a few times almost the same thing about him being better, but I'm basically asking because they say this guy is better than Kell Brook and Keith Thurman, who Shawn was razor close with but came up just short. So does that mean he has to be better than he's ever been to beat Errol Spence?
Listen, there's no comparison between people try to compare Errol and Kell Brook, right? We all know Kell Brook held Shawn most of the fight. It is what it is. But we walk around, we lose the belt, whatever. But we also know when Errol faced him, 2-3 years later?
Triple G fight already happened.
Or whatever. He wasn't the same fighter, right? He'd had some other issues leading up to that point. Now, by no means am I slamming Kell Brook, because he's still a world champion for a reason, right? What I am saying that Errol has never seen anyone like Shawn Porter ever. He's never seen anybody who has feet, hands, agility, aggression like Shawn Porter has. Mikey Garcia did a great job of doing some things against Errol, but he couldn't close the distance, right? He did some really good things. He's a very smart fighter, but he couldn't close the distance because, in my opinion, his feet weren't fast enough to close the distance. Dealing with a guy whose arm's lower than yours, you have to find another way to close the distance. And I don't think Mikey's feet were good enough. Now, when we say that same thing about Shawn Porter, absolutely not. We know his feet are fast enough. So that's something that he's never had to deal with. So that excites me. I'm looking forward to it.
And Shawn's a natural welterweight. Mikey started at 126.
That's true. Shawn, actually, you know what? Shawn was actually a little bit more than a welterweight, and he came down to 147.
Right.
So he's a strong guy. He's a strong guy tonight to fight. He's about to deal with a lot.
Do you think that physical strength Shawn brings and that physicality, and should Shawn get in his chest, do you think that's going to bother Errol, being that it's something he's never really had, to do?
I think Shawn Porter being in anybody's face or chest is going to bother them.
Right.
So yes, the answer is yes.
Is that his best way to win the fight?
Nope.
Okay.
I think Kenny Porter and Barry Hunter came up with a great plan. I will tell you exactly what that plan is September 28th. That's what I'll tell you.
At midnight.
Yeah, at midnight when it's over. Right.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.